Hello and welcome to Architecture, Design, and Photography. Today we're going to be speaking with Alberto Beto Ventosa Merino. He is a visionary serial entrepreneur with a diverse career spanning the financial sector to high-impact real estate development. Currently, Ventosa Merino serves as the director of Mazul and CEO of Alterland, two prominent real estate ventures. He has become an influential figure in real estate development, particularly along the coast of Oaxaca. I don't know if I'm saying that correct at all, but with plans for global expansion. His projects technology plays a critical role, optimizing construction processes, enabling smart resource management, analyzing data to maximize returns, and creating seamless experiences for buyers. The interesting thing that I found from Beto's conversation, which was really interesting, is that he's looking from the lifestyle perspective to how to enable and capture what people are looking to do with their lives in a real estate investment manner. You'll have to listen to it and see what he's getting at, but he's someone who values quality of life and transferring individual property ownership into something that is of an investment nature that feeds both lifestyle and income throughout the lifespan of ownership. It's very interesting. It's not a completely new concept, but it's a completely new concept, in my opinion, in its totality. It's really interesting. So give it a listen. Tell us what you think. Thanks a lot for listening. Alberto Ventosa, welcome to Architecture, Design, and Photography. I'm really excited to have you on today because I want to hear the unique things about the company that you are the director of. Is that the right position that I'm getting there in the company?
Yeah, exactly.
Alterland.
Yes.
And I went through your guys' website, and the graphic design, the architecture, the photography, all of it, incredible. I really love it. It's got such a modern yet organic, natural kind of feel to it that, to me, really reflects the aridness, the feeling, the smells, everything of the quality of Mexico that I've experienced when I've been there. That is just that thing that you dream about when you remember it. That's so nice. Really well done. Really appreciate it. But to give people more of an idea of your design background, your history, so they can kind of understand who they're listening to, and what you want to talk about today, primarily the design principles at Alterland and how you work in development with creating these developments all the way through to selling the development and everything else, however that works. I'd love to hear more about that. And specifically using Mazul in Puerto Escondido, because that place is near and dear to my heart. I've never been there, but I've seen so much imagery of the place because of my addiction to surfing. I'm too old now and too scared to probably ever surf Puerto Escondido. I have a good friend that surfs there a fair amount. He's usually down in south of there, though, another place where the beach break's really good. Jamie O'Brien and them go there a bunch. I forget what the name of that is. But Puerto Escondido, would love to hear more about that and the project there. But before we get into it too much, I'd love to hear more about you and how you ended up where you're at to be able to, talk about the things we're going to talk about.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast. It's an amazing show. If you can tell, it's a show. I have heard a lot of your episodes, and I'm really glad to be here. I'm Alberto Ventosa. I'm 34 years old. I'm not an architect or a designer. I'm a developer. I didn't study that. Life brought me to this point of business. I start in as a broker in the financial market a few years ago. I started understanding there were different things changing in the way people consume products. After that, I started with a paper mile insurance in Mexico. We made the first paper mile insurance in Mexico and in Colombia. And in that project,
what's that? Paper
Paper
mile
mile
insurance?
insurance, yeah, it's a car insurance where you pay per mile. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Instead of
Okay.
paying a full fare of your car insurance, this is technology with telematics that help you pay for the kilometers you are just using the car. So this makes you save a lot of money and it's more fair, right? So this
Now,
product,
did you come up
yes,
with
sir.
this idea and make that happen?
Well, I tropicalized that idea. The first program was made in London, then in China and in the US. But yeah, we were the first to make it here in Mexico and in Colombia.
Oh, that's
uh,
interesting.
we work a lot and we made it a little bit fun, like with an application where you paid $10 as a monthly fare, and you receive an app where you could like manage your car, have a little bit some perks in the insurance program, and then having a price per mile depending your car, right? So if you have a BMW, maybe it's 20 cents, or well, no, 20 cents a lot, like let's say 20 cents, and because I don't know the conversion right now. And if you have a car less expensive, you could pay like 30% less. So the how it works is it's a formula, right? People that
Hmm.
drives a lot, they should buy the regular insurance, to the regular car insurance. But the most
Okay.
of the people, like me or like a lot of people I know, use the car some a few hours a day to come from their office to their house, to their house to the office, to take the kids home. Or sometimes they have two cars in the garage and they cannot use two cars at the same time. So that was the market we were looking
Hmm.
for.
So
uh,
you'd say
we
you were a
start
serial entrepreneur in some way.
Yes, maybe we could say that. Yeah, I like a lot
Okay.
of like finding new ways of consume different products. I wasn't a professional in the insurance, but I was trying to invent something new, and there's when I make a joint venture with AIG, one of the biggest insurance company in the world. And after that, I start thinking a lot about of development, how people consume architecture, homes,
Hmm.
how young people, maybe not in all the world, but in Mexico, are like always saying they don't have the money to buy a nice house or the benefits to buy a huge home like our grandfathers did, right? That there was more money, better opportunities, and nowadays it's like less money and less opportunities. So a lot of people and a lot of millennials and the generations after after the millennials are like with this understanding of, oh, let's not buy homes, not buy properties, let's buy experiences. And I wasn't comfortable with that, I was like,
Hmm.
I don't like how this looking, right? Because um, there wasn't the product. So making the insurance, I saw that the values of insurance was economy on demand, um, sharing economy,
Hmm.
dosification, small payments. So I tried to bring all of these values into the development um, way of making business. No, so that's
Now let
when
me
we.
let me ask a couple
Yeah, yeah,
questions there, and
of course, of course.
sorry to interrupt, but the
Mm-mm.
internet connection, it always makes it hard to butt in. But and I do it all the time, so maybe ignore me occasionally. Now you're experiencing this in Mexico too, where the younger generation does not have the same hope in front of them like previous generations, where like when I was getting out of college, there was no question I'll have to reach a bit, but I absolutely will be able to find a home where I'm at, and I'll have to get a mortgage, and there'll be a payment, but I'll be able to figure it out. I had hope, and now just in the last year, here, recently after COVID, I'm starting to hear like the interns that are on jobs while we're doing photo shoots. There's rumblings of this that like, oh yeah, I'll never be able to afford a home. And I've
Exactly.
never heard that from anyone. And the other thing I see now, having a surfing habit, when I was, just out of high school, my last year of high school and the first couple of years of college, I would live out of my car and surf during the day and work at night, surf during the day, work at night. And
Wow.
I was fine with that because I was able to enjoy, I was choosing to do that for the freedom. But if I wanted, I could go get a job and get an apartment and pay a lot of money and work a lot and be fine. Now, people working a lot still can't afford those things, it appears. Um, and
That's right.
it's not just in America where we're experiencing that. You're saying you're feeling that in Mexico too.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah. Like,
you're
sorry.
feeling that this is a bad thing, and you believe that the population should be involved in property ownership, or at least home ownership as a property, and that's a good thing for the population and the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't feel comfortable about that speech of having to buy experience and no owning anything, right? Because
Mm.
one of the biggest things you could prove that it's COVID-19, right? People without a job, without a home, being super stressed and like couldn't see what will happen with them after a few years of not having work and not having a home, right? And even in the United States or in Mexico, law it's very strict. 3 months you don't pay, you get out, and
Mm.
the authorities will
Yep.
take you out. So
Hmm.
yes, I think it's a problem in the development business more than in economies. I think the
Mm.
developers are not making the correct product for the new consumers, right?
Hmm.
And that's why I've been studying a lot about prefabricated homes, different business model of ownership, and
Mm.
I believe that owning a home, it's the best way to save money nowadays. Like it's the best way to invest. Maybe it's not the best return of investment, like buying some bonds or whatever that can make you easy money, but in the long term I feel it's better, no? And it gives you this sense of security, of you're gonna be okay, not being stressed. So yes, I feel buying a house in a good place, always I think location, 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 it's the best way to invest. And I think architecture, nice and beautiful architecture with award winning around the world, it's not in a fight or it's not in war with cheap homes, and that's what
Hmm.
we've ever heard. Like, no, if you want a cheap house, it has to be horrible in the worst neighborhood, and I don't feel it's that way. I think if you choose the correct materials, the correct size, and make the correct communities, that it's what we're focused on, you could buy a nice property in in um in a cool place with amazing architecture like Mazul, right? In this, when I start this business, it all started because I was 26-year old, turning 27, and I wanted a home in the beach. And homes in the beach are like for people really, really wealthy, right? So I was like,
Retirees, or yeah.
yeah. And I was like, why is so complicated to buy a home in the beach for a guy like me? And how many guys like me would like to have a home in the beach? I think there's a huge market, right? Even a lot of my clients uh, bought me a house in the beach before buying a house or an apartment in the city, because
Mm.
it gives you a lot of things. It gives you uh, a vacation time. It can give, if something happened like COVID, it's a place where you can go and live peacefully. It's a place where you can have better returns of investment, like in the city. Like here in Mexico City, you could buy an amazing apartment for I don't know, $350,000 and have a monthly rent of $1,200, a month, and having a house in Mazul where it costs the same, well, you can have return of investments of 2,500 dollars, the double for the same money. So what
Mm.
are the difference? Well, that you use a lot of technology, you use a lot of different mechanisms to bring people to pay you per night, no? And like all that we know, like the huge companies that rent per night these kind of homes. So that's when I started Mazul. I said, okay, I want to build a place where you can have a beachfront, where you can have a huge clubhouse, beach club with an amazing pool, so you can see the waves, so you can surf with a private surf wave, where you can have a restaurant, but that you have a tiny house, and in this tiny house, what you want to have, it's not the sea and the beachfront. You want to have privacy, you want to have good architecture, you want to have nice
Mm.
materials, and that's how we start building Mazul, right? Like in
Okay,
this
so
way of living. Yeah,
yeah, so what it sounds like you're saying, to make something like this affordable, what you do is you maximize a resource like beachfront living, and you
exactly.
minimize the private space that you then own at that place that you have access to.
Exactly. And also
Ah,
that's
okay.
where you make the sharing economy and the economy on demand, right? Because
Right.
the sharing economy, it's if you have 50 houses instead of having one house at the front of the beach, well, you could
Yep. Yep.
divide cost of maintenance, of cleaning services, of a concierge that can, a cook that it's in the club, or a bartender that can give you your michelada or whatever, and it's an economy on demand because you use it whenever you want, and when you don't use it, um, we help you to have a return of investment with these different platforms. I will talk a little bit later about how we do it, but yes, it's like this thing of being in a cool community with nice architecture, with a small private uh, place for you, with a huge clubhouse with a beachfront, right? But without sacrificing the service and everything, and not having to pay millions of dollars to have a house over there, and
Right.
having a return of investment. That's really important for us, right? Not just to sell a house, but to sell a kind of business to the client that it's buying from us.
Hmm. Okay. So it's kind of like an elevated condominium in a sense, but it has a lot more presence of being beachfront in an amazing
Exa-
place with good architecture, not condo architecture. That
exactly.
you can, when you're using it, it's yours. You use it. You have your private area, but you have a much more public sharing economy of that larger development. But then when you're not there, it sounds like you have some ability or an easy ability for renting that space out. Is that how that works?
Exactly. That's exactly how
Okay.
it works. Like what Alterland, that it's our company, it's doing. Actually, one of the slogans of Alterland, it's for smart barefooters. And that's like how we see the new luxury, right? We don't see the new luxury like these super resorts as other companies have. We see new luxury like to spend time in nature, have an amazing architecture place, having a nice food, having your own surf wave in a virgin beach, like being more outside than inside, like being more with the nature, with the animals, horse riding, I don't know, different kind of activities that really connect you with our world. That's how we see luxury nowadays for us, right? So what Alterland makes, it's a development company where we choose the land, we make the economics, we see what's the product we want to build. After that, we give all this information to CCA, that it's It's the architectural firm, one of the best ones right now in Mexico. That is from my partner Bernardo Quinzaños. So he receives this information and he starts designing all the place. After that, he gives it back to Alterland, to me. Well, we're partners in Alterland, but I'm the CEO, and I start to making all the concept for the community, like from the selling presentations to the logo to the brand color and all the brand lines, and how do you have to feel, no, all this packaging for the product. So
Mm.
after that, we send it to the construction company that it's also under our umbrella, so we can take care of those small details. So we make development, design, construction, and after construction we also make the sales. We have our own channel of sales. We do everything online, and we're not in the massive blogs of selling houses. We think that looks a little bit cheap. We try to make good campaigns in social media where people can interact with our product, see our look and feel, and contact us into a virtual meeting where we can like present the product and make the sale. And after we make the sale, we make the all the operations. We take care of the maintenance, take care of the cleaning, we take care of the rental programs. Actually, we give you an owner's app where with your owner's app, you can see what's happening in your house. You can see all your calendar if it's under maintenance. You can use your house the 365 days a year. Um, you could even don't put it in a rent. It depends on you, but if you want to make some money, you just have to unblock the dates, right, and money will start like coming
Wow.
to you.
Okay.
So in that umbrella, we take care about all the cycle of life of the property. What we're used to see in some condos, it's that you buy a property and you never see again the developer, right? He runs away like really, really far because maybe things start having problems, etc. And what we like to do is like to stay and to see that the product comes in a nice way and the products have a long life and the maintenance are done in a good way, and that's like a little bit of what we do in Alterland, right?
So is there's essentially a vested interest as an investment for you as the developer slash owner of the business model around this property. So the more that people buy in, the more you've sold off the product that you've made, which is good. But the more those people rent that out, you're going to make management fees and have an investment return for yourself as well, which is
Exactly.
a good relationship to keep there.
Exactly, and that's a little bit that you exactly hit the target, right? So what I wanted to do after the insurance business was I want to make properties and real estate uh, with a recurrency, like
Recurrency,
every
yes, yes, gotcha.
yeah, yeah, like the best business in life, we can say. It's like Spotify, you pay a monthly fee, Netflix, and all this. And I wanted to do the same with
For
properties.
real estate and
So,
property, yeah.
yeah. So we don't only sell you the property, we also manage the property so we can continue having some small fares monthly with the maintenance, with the administration, with the rental program, with some activities, and that's how you make a long life for each of those houses you have. So at the end, the business model, how we think it works and why we think it's special, it's because with time, if we have 500 villas with 2 bedrooms, and we manage those 500 villas, it's another business that has it's really worthy, and it's different from the development of just selling, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
that's like the view of Alterland, yeah.
So, okay, if I'm to think, all right, what if I want to buy one of these things? I'm not pitching you to buy and give me a discount, if I want to buy one of these things, and I just have the money sitting around and I want an investment property, does this make sense, and to what degree? Or is the target market of your product more so you can own a house and get some of that money returned, but it's not like a investment as much. It's a home ownership way of having a second home that kind of easily pays you back? Or is it like buy one and you'll be making money on your money essentially? Where's the
we
where's
sell
the
it.
target market there?
Yeah, we sell it as buy one and you will make money, right? Like even if
Okay.
you go to one of these applications as AirDNA, you know that it's not, it's like you have to pay these guys a huge amount of money. I think it's $1,000 a year or something like that. And they take the APIs from VRBO and from Airbnb and give you the information of each place in the world that has a connection with Airbnb. And if you go to Mazul and look into our properties, you can see we're making between 11 and 15% of return of investment a year
Hmm.
without counting the, I don't remember the word, but each year the property starts having a higher value, right?
Yes. Because you said you can't remember it, now I can't remember it, but I know the term. Building equity, your equity inflation.
In Mexico,
We
it's
know the
called
word and the
plusvalía.
people.
Yeah.
Kuzbalia. We'll call it Kuzbalia for now. Good.
Plusvalía, yeah, it's plusvalía means it has a plus in the in the value of the property, you know, like
Mhm.
Puerto Escondido has like a 6 to 8% every year. It's going up, you know.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go to cities like New York, Paris, London, it's also really high. And a place like Mazul has gone like in the past 3 years, 4 years that we started, like more than 300% of the value of the property, right? So
Whoa.
we start like a house we wanted for people to buy, you know, and it has come a lot up. And nowadays we understand it's a little bit difficult for everyone to buy it, but we have these financial programs that can help you buy it and pay like maybe 85% of the property with the rent, you know?
Wow.
So you can have a place in the beach, you can use it whenever you want, and the rent will help you to pay it by itself, you know. So
Now,
that's cool. Yeah.
as of today, what is are any of these for sale for one? And what would, as of today, what's generally the cost of something like this? Let's say, let's not talk about exactly the thing. Maybe let's like something like this. What would roughly be the cost um,
Yeah.
to get
Well,
into something like that?
Masul, it's a project of 45 houses. We have developed and sell 21 um,
Mhm.
houses. The second phase of Masul we just started a few weeks ago. There are houses of $325,000.
Okay.
We have different programs. We sell to people from America, from France, from London, and a lot of Mexicans, of course. Uh, Alterland doesn't only have Mazul. We also have Punta Morelos, that it's an apartments in Punta Cicatela, more in
More
Puerto
importantly,
Escondido.
which one
Yeah.
has the best waves?
The best waves, maybe Punta Morelos has better waves than
Oh,
Mazul
all right.
because it's where you see all the pros. Mazul, what it has an amazing wave in front that we call it wave chicharrón, and it's a beginners turning advanced wave. So you will be perfect to surf over there. You won't be scared. You will be very happy, and I will be very happy to invite you, no cost, of course, to come and visit us and spend a few days over there. Maybe you could work from there or whatever. And we also have like 150 meters in the left, one of the best waves also, that it's like a top secret wave, where you see a lot of pros, that it's La Ola de la Grava, the wave of La Grava. Actually, if the surfers from Puerto hear this, they're gonna be really pissed at me because
Oh yeah,
I'm talking
don't you?
about a secret.
Maybe we need to bleep that out, Tim. We need to
Exactly.
beep. Yeah,
Exactly.
the a friend of mine, a friend of mine and I, we went to Salina Cruise. Probably, sheesh, how long ago was that? Probably 7 to 10 years ago. That was such a beautiful place and so far away from the normal tourist industry. Like you only see true Mexicans or surfers there. There's no tourism in Salina Cruz. And it was such a beautiful place. And the waves just wrapping in around these headlands with, just sand bottom point breaks peeling right. It was amazing. I really got to get back there someday. But
Yeah, hope to see you soon over there. Yeah, Salina Cruz, it's an amazing place. We are between Puerto and Huatulco. Like we're like 25 minutes from Puerto Escondido. And the other development I was talking about, Punta Morelos, there are apartments. We also sell them. We also manage them. We just make the sold out 1 week ago, and there were like apartments from $200,000 to $500,000. And now
mhm.
we're starting a new development of 20 units in front of an amazing wave in one of the best beaches of Puerto Escondido, and are going to be apartments around 400 to $600,000, right? So those are like nowadays the prices. And I also have another product that it's called Las Gaveras, that it's not a beachfront, because the thing is, land is going higher, materials are going higher, and it's difficult to make the maths right. It's a difficult moment for developers. So what I'm starting, it's new houses. Some of them are prefabricated. Some of them are made with natural materials like dirt, wood, rocks, like our ancestors used to make houses, but with nice architecture, and that are not beachfront, and that goes like from $150,000, right? A house where
And
you can
how far
have
away are those from the beach?
like 4 minutes walking or 5 minutes walking from the beach. It's like, yeah,
That's great.
yeah, it's not that bad, and it's an amazing architecture. We also manage your property, but I don't want to be like I have to make business, right? So if we are going well with our sales, we have to continue making sales, but I never stop looking to present opportunities for the new generations,
Mm,
properties that are in a better price, they're more affordable, without taking out the architecture. That's for me, that's the important part.
mm.
Even materials, you can work with different materials, but the architectural always, it's very, very important for me.
Now you now did you personally do the graphic design, the branding, and the logos, or did you manage the project? How did you do that when it comes to these different development projects?
I have a team inside, and I leadership this team, and I get a lot into these branding guidelines, right? Like the colors, what we want to represent, how we want to talk to the clients. So if I'm not in the computer making the design, because I'm not a graphic designer, I mark how I want to make this happen. Yeah.
Mm. Now, where did you get the idea or understanding as to why the design, the aesthetic, the feeling? Like, how did you come to value these kind of things without the background in architecture or anything else? Did you come from a family that simply held these things as important, that you grew up around that, or did you discover that somehow, or how did you come
Well,
across that?
for me, the aesthetics is something very important. I also come from a family where my mom, since I was really, really young, used to take me to these hotel lobbies, no? Like we went to New York, we didn't stay in the best hotels, but she brought me like to amazing hotels and was like, look at the details and look to the brand. And she's an artist. She's always have had like an amazing taste in furniture, in house, in design, in even how she dresses, you know.
Mm.
And for me, it's very important, like not just to make a development with a cool architecture. Like I think everything is super connected. Actually, I'm super excited right now because last week I signed a contract to make a small movie. I don't know how to say when it's a movie, but it's a 3 minutes movie. I forgot. Hello?
Yep, there we go. You signed a
Okay, sir.
contract to make a.
A 3 minutes movie. I don't know how to
Oh,
say when
cool.
it's a small,
Yeah, yeah.
well, it's a 3 minute movie where we want to do it in Mazul to talk about story happening in
Hmm.
Mazul, and that this doesn't go actually to a selling point. We will use it for sales, but it's more like to mix these kind of arts of photography,
Mm.
cinema, architectural, and then make a small movie where we could send it to some festivals and maybe if we have luck win something. So now you're not just buying a house where you have some award-winning architectural in around the world. You also have a film festival award telling a story that something happens in Mazul, you know, and it has to
Yep.
be a real story of what can happen in Mazul. Like, and Mazul can be a place where you can reinvent yourself, where you can like get in love of your wife or your husband again or whatever, when you can like relax and think of the future or whatever. So we want to make these small films that are in Mazul. So we want to start connecting all these, right? The different arts, not only make a development and then you sell and then you leave. So to have a product that has like these 360 degrees faces.
That first of all, I love that you tracked down where your value and fascination for the aesthetics came from observing your mother. That's like such a primary first relationship of your life, and to see that beauty coming from the feminine in your life and that sheltering relationship of your mother, there's no more deeply imprinted thing of value onto a child than that relationship with their mother. And then to have that connection with your mother, and then to kind of emulate what that warmth and that value that you felt from the relationship, the thing of that you can really share is this appreciation for the aesthetic that's very, it keeps a very deep through line in everything that you do, that connects it, that maintains some value from the kind of foundational aspects of your upbringing, which is that's a really solid way to keep a consistency through what you do, that I think is really important, and it's nice to see that.
Thank
The
you.
idea of making movies around what you've created rather than about what you created is a really smart move, I think. And I did this, and well, maybe I'm patting myself on the back, and that's not appropriate. But I bought an Airstream camper, I think probably 2 years ago. You know, the silver
Yeah. I love this.
campers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. And so I drove by one at the dealer in California and just kind of did an impulse buy, which wasn't the smartest thing, but I'm really happy about it. So, but afterwards I thought, geez, I need to, I need to get a return on this somehow. So I used my reputation as an architectural photographer and videographer to approach Airstream to say, hey, I just bought one of your campers. Maybe we can collaborate in some way, shape, or form. And Airstream actually got back to me, and their social media marketing manager was like, well, actually, you're in Maine, and we bought a song from a girl who's in Boston that is roughly about Airstream campers that we have the
Wow.
rights for. But since COVID hit, we haven't really been able to execute on what we wanted to do. And now we're looking at that again. And you're conveniently close, and you already have the camper there, so we don't have to go to all the trouble to get one of our product all the way out there somewhere to shoot this. And so then I was like, great. And he's like, well, can you conceptualize what you might want to do after listening to the song? So they pushed back a lot of the creative energy of that onto me, and I was happy to do that. That's where I used to sit around with my mom. I remember this very clearly. I was with my mom somewhere when I was a kid, and we were talking about what I wanted to do. And I remember thinking, if I could deal with having a normal job for long enough, I'd be someone who I'd love to make up short stories. Short because my attention span is always pretty short.
I know.
And that idea of creating a narrative through visual storytelling to me was always very interesting. So we came up with the concept of not, making this film directly about the Airstream, make it about everything that the Airstream allows you to do, the places it allows you to
Exactly.
go, the
Exactly.
focus of life away from constant churn and grind of work, but a time apart from all of that and what it allows you to do because of that. And so what we did then is we ended up using my front yard essentially as the scene for where she was camping. But then everywhere around southern Maine where I live, I went and scouted with fresh eyes, because before I lived here because I loved the area. I loved that it was close to the coast. It's a good place to raise kids. And when we moved here, it was an affordable area. It's not affordable anymore, unfortunately, but that's how it goes. And
That's how it
so the
goes.
whole
Yeah.
thing became like a travel experience of my local area, which I see completely differently now. But it was interesting. A lot of people's comments in the marketing organizational higher up was like, well, why is this not directly about the camper more so? Why is it about this experience? And you'd have to keep saying it over and over. If especially this is a song by someone who's an artist, and if you make the focus of this thing the thing that you're trying to sell, it becomes a weird relationship to what you're
Exactly.
trying to sell.
Yeah.
If you shoot past it and as you drive past it, you smell them cooking the steaks, that's what gets you. That's what they mean by sell the sizzle, not the steak. And so when you
Absolutely.
drive by it and you smell it, you stop and you're like, whoa. But if you didn't smell it and they just had a picture pointing at steaks, you don't get it. And so that idea of creating movies around Mazul, if I'm saying that right, Mazul, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea, because the background and the feel of this whole artistic creation, for one, you're going to give people from at least your local area or Mexico City or whoever is making these short films a chance to share what they're capable of. And
Exactly.
if there's one thing I'm always so incredibly impressed with is the artistic vibrancy, creativity. There seems to be more of a freedom of expression or something within the more Latin communities that is just alive, and you can feel it in those creations. There's more feeling, more passion, more something, and it's so invigorating. And I love seeing it. And like your website and the projects that you have on there, it just feels alive. And I don't know how to better say that.
No, well, you just say what I wanted to say.
Good.
Like,
But getting
yeah,
that local community to do those things, you're giving them such an incredible opportunity, for one. And then they win, you're going to win, because Mazul's the background, the backdrop of the whole thing. And people are, if they connect to these movie-ettes, we'll call them, or,
exactly,
people are going to connect to that, and they're like, geez, where was this filmed? I would love to go spend some time there just to
exactly.
experience it, and that kind of thinking, I think, is also what maybe is getting you to say, I don't want to leave the younger incoming generation behind. I want to offer them something that they could maybe get at the 150 mark, and as an income that maybe they keep, but then also maybe they get a little better off and they sell that and they buy closer to the beach eventually. Sure, fine, great. But that concept, I love it. Really good job. That's exciting.
No, and that relationship to grow with your clients, no. But yes, like
Ooh,
to wrap up a
yeah,
little bit everything you just said. Yes, I think number one, people don't want to be sold, people want to buy.
right.
So starting
Mm.
from there, you have to give people what they are looking for. People
I
want to
hate
feel it.
salespeople.
Yeah, I hate salespeople also, and I do sales for a
Yeah,
living, but I try people to buy me. No, not to.
right.
It's not that I'm selling. Like come
Yeah,
buy me. Yeah, it's
yeah, yeah.
how I make you know I exist, and how I make my product so you identify with the product. Something really amazing about Mazul and its community. It's like it's the same profile of people that buys me, and it's not a money thing. It's a value thing of people that
Mm,
like arts, people that like architecture, people that like good food, people that like waves, people that like
mm,
nature, people that treat service people in a good manner. That's really
mm,
important for me, because why? Because we're in a town of 700 people where they take care of us, and more than they being our cleaning people or whatever, they're for me friends. I'm friends of the cowboys, the surfer cowboys, of the oyster divers, of the cleaning ladies that have nice how do you say, they are really nice with me, and I really feel uh, taken care of,
mm.
of all these people, and I really feel I owe them a lot, because for a developer it's really easy to go buy land, develop, sell, and just leave.
See you
And
later. Yeah.
it's yeah, and it has been the land of all these people where their grandfathers used to live and used to go to the beach. So for me, that's very important. And then going through the short movies, that's what I want to make. I don't want to make commercials of Mazul. I have of those, and I have them in the platform and in Meta and everything, and
Mm,
and people can see that. But this new focus I just made last week, that we're gonna film in a couple of weeks, it's short films that it's not about Mazul. It's talking about stories of people that goes to Mazul, and how
mm.
Mazul um, help them to their lives. Like like if it's uh, bachelor party, if it's
That one could ruin lives if you're not careful.
exactly, exactly. A couple of a marriage that has been a lot of time, having trouble, and where if you go to Mazul and you live this and you have this space with your partner, it could change your life, because
Mm,
it did for me. I lived in Mazul for 2 years. I was barefoot for 2 years, like for
mm.
real. I went to the supermarket barefoot. I drive barefoot, and I got into this vision of money isn't the way of happiness. It's how you connect with this world and how
Yeah.
you live nature. And it's not a hippie comment. I don't want to hear hippie or whatever. It's the
Mm,
real meaning of life for me. It's to have an amazing connection with your partner, with nature,
mm,
feeling free, owning your time. What you were
mm.
talking about at the
Yeah.
beginning of the podcast, like that moment when you were surfing and living your best moment. You could actually go and work in an office and buy an apartment and go in the afternoon for some shopping or whatever, but you don't feel the free of being in the waves and being in the nature. And if I understand not everyone can have that life, Masul can give you a tiny piece of that, and that's
Mm.
what we like to sell, and that's what our product is about. Yeah.
Wow. That is, yeah, that the value of life, and it's not till you get to the second half where you realize how incredibly short it is, really.
Yeah.
And do you have kids?
Yes, I have
You,
a 14-year-old daughter.
oh,
She's
well, okay.
huge. Yeah. Um, that was one of the reasons I didn't study architecture. Maybe I would be in another life a good architect, but I had to start working really young. I have her when I was in my 20s, so I start my entrepreneurships and other stuff. But yes, I have kids and I understand now that, and I'm
Yeah.
34, and yes, I feel life it's like water, it just runs really fast and you can never grab it. So
But it
since
can
I
envelop you. You can
yeah,
ride it. It can warm
exactly.
you. It can
Exactly.
challenge
You
you.
can
It,
surf it,
oh,
right? You can surf life
yeah.
in that wave. Like
Mm,
it's all about your your mental view and how do you appreciate the small things in life. And
mm,
that's like what we like to give to our customers, right? It's not only a sales of an apartment, it's a detail, an architectural place where you feel home, where you feel in peace, when you can have a little bit of money, when you can have this connection with the nature, when you can invite friends, when you can lend your property, to
mm,
friends, to family, like these kind of things that makes you those happy moments in life. Yeah.
mm. That's that is the best pitch I've ever gotten from like, and I wouldn't call that a pitch, but like explanation of why are you doing what you do, and that I can't argue with. I wish I was a person who had enough drive and ability to shoulder risk and stress as yourself to do something like that, because you're doing a really valuable and attractive thing there, to think that, okay, I could buy a place there and it, immediately can provide a quality of life return either 365 days a year or in snippets where I control the ability to go there, and the money that I just spent to hold an asset can also start to return to me, and I can pay that thing off, and then it can return to me money that I put in. It can return back, and then I can go and use it when I want. I can create a tradition of going there with my family or whatever. That's a really, really valuable thing, and probably one of the best and most holistic and complete ways of looking at property ownership in some way, which I think is very valuable. I
And
I love it.
something, another thing that is really important to me, it's to make long-lasting relationships. Okay,
Mm,
so the people that buys me, I don't sell them like just to sell. They are part of a community, and as my grandfather always told me, there is no man that doesn't um, get older with their toys or bigger with their toys, right? So in time they
wait.
go.
Say that again.
Yeah,
There.
like there's no man that doesn't grow with their toys, right? So when you're small you
Okay.
have Hot Wheels, but when you're in the teens you have your first car, and maybe after you have an amazing car or whatever. So that's
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
looking to make long lasting relationships with our clients, because we know maybe Mazul won't fit forever with them, but we will have those products that fit for them, and we will help them sell Mazul to this new generation. So we want to be in the complete cycle, of
Mm,
giving you your next new home in the next new beach. We're looking for different places around the world to make Mazul or another business models, but always with this sense of community, of smart barefoot, of new luxury, nature luxury, and yes, of we want to build the place where you have these beautiful moments in your life, no?
mm. Yeah. It's very interesting to see that you've created something, relatively new, but not. completely unexisting in previous forms. Like it's essentially a condo, but a lot better, and
Exactly.
the idea of reimagining it to a way that complements and benefits life rather than suck all the profit out for you and see you later. And there's something, I think there's probably something more intrinsic in the newer generations running up against the larger corporate extraction of value to the nth degree, to where if you're involved with it at all, you get juiced for everything that you are, in hopes of gaining some stability. And that's just not a good relationship. You're
Yeah.
more so looking at this at a holistic, long-term relationship, a way of offering opportunity to the community that you build these developments in, understanding that these people are, the foundation of your development that you're making. They're going to be the people that maintain it. They're going to be the people that make you feel welcomed, make you feel cared for while you're there. And if those people are taken good care of, they're going to take good care of the people that come and stay there. And in turn, that just, continues to, to use a very northern or very southern term, snowball into a bigger and better thing continually, which
Exactly.
that's a really positive and hopeful thing to see in today's world. So thank you for doing that.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to talk about this, because you give us the exposure so we can give the idea to other developers. I'm not a guy that, oh, I won't talk about my business model. No, I think everyone should have the opportunity to be part of these kind of projects and these kind of products, and just have a happy life, and spend a good moment with your kids in an amazing place, with nice details, with nice experiences, and to have, yes, like, I don't know
Well,
how
what
to
you were
say it.
saying earlier, even that, these people that are investing more in experience than property ownership or something, you're properly marrying those two.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Experience with property ownership in a situation that accommodates a limited resource spread between more people as a means of making it more affordable, but then also bringing in this business model that pays you back through rental and everything else, and
Exactly.
you're managing it so it's not a huge stressor on the owner. It's
Exactly.
it's a really well put together, interesting business model that has a very deep, holistic, and kind of 7 generations thought process to it, to a degree, which I really appreciate. So that's really
And
great.
and the thing about what I told you, my customers, like, I have really wealthy customers that pay me the house even without going to the place, like, hey,
Yeah.
I want a house, here's the money, it's mine, and I
Yep.
have these other clients that are not wealthy. They don't have a lot of properties. Has been their first property. They're in financial programs with different banks that we work, and it's like the the money of all their lives, because that's
Mm.
the other thing. Um, this business, it's a lot of confidence. You have to make people trust you, a lot of
Yeah.
trust.
Yep.
So, and these two guys, one investment with a lot of money with maybe 20 properties in different parts of the world, and this one with no properties, making a huge effort to buy a house, can meet, be friends, have fun, and both of them be in the same place, and like having a return of investment, because because it's a way of life. It's not about the material, or like having a lot of things, or a lot of money. It's like this place where everyone it's in the same vibe, and that's
Mm.
super cool. Yeah.
Well, you might see me as a client someday. Who knows? Once we have our retirement in line, and I'm looking further investment. I'd love to so that's a good kind of way to wrap this up. Where do I find more, where does anyone find more information on this, for Alterland, but Mazul and other projects that you'll have going
Yeah.
on? Where can people find more about all this?
So our web page of Mazul, it's mazul.mx. There you can find reservations. You can also talk with us to buy a villa. We're also in Instagram as at Mazul down space Puerto. And Alterland, our web page, it's under construction. We make some changes, so you can find us also as alterland.mx. It's not working right now, but it will be working like in a week or 2 weeks. And you can also look at our Instagram page at alterland.mx. So if it's Mazul or it's Alterland, you can write us. We can arrange a meeting with me. I always like to meet people that it's buying a house. Like, you won't buy a house without having a meeting with me or having a lunch in Puerto Escondido or inviting you to spend a night in Puerto, because I like that the people that buys a house feel really confident of what they are buying, without like, what you see, it's what you buy and nothing else. And also, it's like a small filter just to check that we're all in the same vibe of the community, no? Like that. But yes, you can find us in Instagram and in the web.
Alberto, thank you so much for coming on. That is really interesting to hear about this. It's a really beautiful project you've got going on. Anyone who's interested in this, all they have to do is go look at your website. It is just, you want to go where every single project is. They're each like photographed beautifully. I noticed that. That's what I do. they're each beautifully photographed. They're like this, natural beauty. None of it looks artificial or anything. It's just, you want to be in every photograph on your webpage. The graphic design is beautiful. Again, the whole thing, really well done. I really love the philosophy and vision behind it. I love where you get your sense of beauty from. You tie it from your family, from your foundational relationship with your mother. That's just very beautiful to me. So thank you for sharing. It's been a real pleasure having you on. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for the time, for the trust of talking about my project. I hope to meet you in person one day. Please come to visit us.
Hopefully I'm not like dropping in and cutting you off accidentally.
No, but please come to Mazul to spend some days with your family. I will be happy to have you over there, to surf a wave with you, to have some shrimp as the Oaxacan style, and we can continue always talking about architecture. I also love photography, so if we could one day maybe work together and take some pictures of my products with you, I will be really happy.
I would love that. And that would be my favorite assignment ever.
Yeah, and well, I met you, I feel you as a friend, so we will continue in touch, and thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you so much, Alberto.
Take care, my friend. Thank you.